SLA Video Productions presents live and on tape from the beautiful Westlake Community Services Center in Westlake, Ohio. It's Westlake Live!
There's magic that takes place within the walls of GiGi's Playhouse, where everyone who's born with a little something extra is accepted and celebrated. GiGi's Playhouse has over 55 locations worldwide, and we're fortunate to have a location right here in Northeast Ohio. Today, Lizz Maxwell, site director of GiGi's Lakewood, is here with Addie Krinko to spread this amazing global message of acceptance for all.
Hi, today we're going to talk about GiGi's Playhouse, which is a facility in Lakewood, Ohio. I actually had the privilege of visiting them a few days ago and to meet Liz before I interviewed her, and it's a warm, welcoming, very inspiring place. There's a lot of activity rooms, a sensory room with stars on the ceiling, and you have math labs and learning labs and even a little gym. So for those of you who may not know what GiGi's Playhouse is, because I didn't, even though I've driven by it many times, Lizz Maxwell, who is the site director, is going to explain to us exactly who they are.
Yes, hi.
Okay.
Well, good morning. Thank you everyone for coming. It's such a perfect venue, a perfect weather day. Such good stuff going on. So as Addie so kindly introduced me, thank you, Addie. My name is Lizz Maxwell. I'm the site director at GiGi's Playhouse, Cleveland. What is GiGi's Playhouse? Well, we are an achievement center for our friends with Down syndrome. We are one of 55 playhouses across the U.S. and Mexico. Next week, we're going to have our 56th playhouse open in Cincinnati. So GiGi's Playhouse Cincinnati has been working hard to open, and we are so excited for them. We are a network of achievement centers that provides free therapeutic, educational, and career development programs for our friends with Down syndrome. And right now at GiGi's Playhouse Cleveland, we serve around 500 families in Northeast Ohio. So we have programs serving all ages. We have our infant programs that focus on sign language, that focus on music therapy, and our families with the new little ones that are so precious can come in from prenatal diagnosis to 3 years old for that program. And then we serve our toddlers. We get them ready for preschool. We do a lot of preschool prep with them. In addition to that, we have our school age programs. They love to keep busy at that age, so we might make sure that we can continue providing programs for them as well too. And then in addition, we also have our teen programs. They love their Teen-tastic. Tonight we are actually doing art night, which I promise will still end in karaoke or dance somehow in some way. And then in addition to that as well too, we also have our adult programs. We learned real quick that there's not a lot of programs out there or opportunities for adults to get together and hang out. So we make sure we provide that in addition to not just hanging out, but to offer career development, to offer therapeutic programs. So we're working on social skills, we're working on transitioning, gross spine motor, you name it. The first GiGi's Playhouse started in 2003 when Nancy Gianni, our founder, had her daughter Gigi and realized, you know, right after she was born, that there needed to be a place. There needed to be a brick and mortar place that families could go to be empowered for their loved ones to not just to learn and grow, but to have that empowerment. And if you're a mom or a dad, you know anybody that has gone through those years, regardless of whether your son or daughter has had a diagnosis, you know how important that empowerment is. So it was important to Nancy and important to her team back then that there needed to be a place. And so 2003, the first GiGi's Playhouse was born, and we opened, GiGi's Playhouse Cleveland opened in January 2016. We were the 28th Playhouse. And so if you do the math, 6.5 years later, we have doubled in size. We do have a Playhouse down in Mexico, and they are phenomenal and incredible, and they are working harder than ever to provide therapies and services for our friends down there. And then in addition, a really fun fact, you know, when COVID hit, we were all devastated, right? Everybody stayed home, did not leave. There's a silver lining in that. at GiGi's Playhouse. And the cool part about that is we created GiGi's at Home. So we still have to this day, and will continue to forever, have virtual programming to serve families that may not be ready to leave the house. Or in addition to that, what we have found is that we can serve families in places where there is no GiGi's Playhouse. And it's all free programs. Everything is free. We do not charge. Cost is not a barrier to achievement. I think that's so huge to be able, and so important to offer that. What we have found over the years since COVID hit, we serve families in 81 countries. So families from all over the world can log in, hop online, and they are instantly connected to a program lead who has a therapeutic background or an educational background, and they are there with friends. They can have friends from all over. The pen pal stories that have come up have been pretty remarkable to see them keep in touch, although nowadays pen pals is email or text or FaceTime, right? Nobody sends the old snail mail anymore when you can instantly connect. So we are so thankful for that community of acceptance around the world, not just here at GiGi's Playhouse Cleveland, where we're located in Lakewood, Ohio. So we are so excited. We run about 20 programs at our location specifically. We have just a phenomenal group of volunteers. I know Addie hasn't dove into it quite yet, but I'm the only full-time staff at GiGi's, and we run on about 75 to 80 volunteers a month to offer all of our programs. We offer literacy and math tutoring, and we have tutors. So if you're ever looking to kind of get back into it, you don't need an educational background, you don't need a therapeutic background. We do have training involved, and it is phenomenal. We do have tutors that have retired and love, you know what, I want to get back in. I'm not ready to just not have anything going on, and it's been so rewarding for them. The biggest thing I found with our volunteers is that they come through the doors and their goal is to make a difference and make an impact. Well, what happens is the opposite also takes place. Their lives, they walk out of our doors, and their lives are forever changed by my amazing friends who rock that extra chromosome. And for those of you that are unaware, or maybe don't know anybody who has Down syndrome, just a little bit of facts about that. So Down syndrome, we all have there's 23 chromosomes that we have 2 copies of, right? 46 total. Well, my friends who have Down syndrome have 3 copies of the 21st chromosome. And that's where the Down syndrome diagnosis comes. It may come prenatal, before birth, through amazing testing that's done, or it may come after birth as well too. But it's important that we spread that message and we advocate and do that outreach so that way these families know when you have a loved one with Down syndrome, everything's gonna be okay. Your life has now become that much better, and the impact that it has by knowing somebody or having a loved one in your life with Down syndrome, it's like no other. If you don't know anybody with Down syndrome, you're about to meet my friend David, who's one of our ambassadors. But in addition to that, with the Down syndrome diagnosis, there's low muscle tone. Because of that, we have exercise programs like GiGi Fit, where we work on strengthening their core muscle, their trunk control, and whatnot. And so it just goes on, and we'll dive in a little bit deeper. But for the gist, that's GiGi's Playhouse, and a lot of amazing things are happening in every part, and the impact, the ripple effect is far and wide. So I probably went on a little bit too long, Addie. I'm sorry.
You've given us a great overview. I think a lot of what you were discussing was more physicality, but I think you're also spreading this message of acceptance and understanding of the capabilities of folks with the syndrome. And so I think that's also part of your purpose, your vision, your mission, to spread that word, to be more accepting.
Yes.
And how many people are actually affected by this organization? I can't remember if you gave any statistic, if you have one. Worldwide, how many participants?
Sure, yeah, great question. So right now we're over 30,000 participants, people who have Down syndrome. But when you say affected, it's a ripple effect. I think it's countless, because the parents are involved, the grandparents are involved, the brothers, sisters, neighbors, aunts, uncles, teachers, medical community. I'm thankful for the collaborations we have with university hospitals and the Cleveland Clinic and the family medicine residency at the Cleveland Clinic, and the impact that they see that the Playhouse makes, and the education that comes with that too. So we have residents that come into the Playhouse, and so it's the families and it's the community members too. So
that's great. Yeah. Before I interviewed you, I know I studied one of the links, and you also discuss your niche, and perhaps you've already covered that, which is education, therapy, career development. What type of careers do you prepare people for that are part of the GiGi?
GGU, yeah.
So what would that be? So
any career they want. Whatever their goal is, whatever they want to do, whether they want to be interview and be a news broadcaster, or they want to become a model, or they want to become a teacher, a preschool teacher, work in sales. Some of our adults are incredible with convincing you to do something. Our teens are really good at that too. Whatever it might be, that I think one of the archaic myths out there is that people with Down syndrome are, either stocking shelves or in the back doing whatever it might be
menial
that they're
tasks.
doing. Yes, yeah, and we've come so far. I know David and some of our other older friends can share how much or how far we've come over the years. That any of our participants that come in, whatever their goal or their dream is, our goal is to help them achieve that goal. So whatever that might be, whether it's one of our school agers participating in the spelling bee, or making the basketball team, or becoming one of our ambassadors and giving tours and speaking about the impact that GiGi's Playhouse has on them, or just showing people that, hey, just because I have Down syndrome doesn't mean that I need to be treated differently, and it doesn't mean that I can't have the same opportunities that everybody else has. So that's another goal that we're doing. We're breaking down barriers. We're changing the way the world views our friends with Down syndrome.
And do they attend, what type of schools do they attend other than coming to GiGi's, or is GiGi's their primary form of education?
Sure. Yeah. No, they're in public schools, private schools. Some are homeschooled. What we are advocating for nowadays is for full inclusion, right, Mama? Full inclusion. It doesn't matter. You can see I'm passionate about this. What we have learned over the years, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that when you have students in a classroom with a disability or a diagnosis, your class is not going to be, there's no impeding, we're not making advances. I promise you, more will come. We have friends that come to GiGi's that are in fully inclusive classrooms all over, and the teachers will tell you that their class and their students are all the better for it because of the teamwork, the camaraderie, the, hey, I'll help you today, you're gonna help me tomorrow. And what a beautiful concept that I think this world, we can all agree this world needs more of, to be able to rely on each other and say, you know what, you might need help in math today, but I'm gonna need your help on, scoring that goal in soccer tomorrow at gym or whatever it might be.
Okay, well also, I think you've kind of talked about this, there's the promise of GiGi's Playhouse, which I think means that it's a lifetime commitment to the families to continue the growth and the whatever the needs are. Is that kind of what that stands for?
Yes, Addie, I love it. Look at you.
Okay.
Yeah, that we make that lifetime commitment. We don't say, okay, you're 18, thanks for coming by GiGi's, it was great having you. They always have a place. They have a place that is their second home. They have a place like David or Amy. You walk through the doors, you go grab that cup of coffee. David likes it black, and we can sit and chat. We can talk. We can talk about what goals do you have? What are your plans for the week? What else do we need to do to advocate? And here we are. And so David and I just had that conversation not too long ago. So look, David, here we are, being able to share our message with you guys as well too. So, and then of course like the career development programs and whatnot. So really being able to be there, that whole concept, the whole person. You know, what's your goals and how can we help you?
Now, you may have covered this already, but again, when scrutinizing your site, the term Generation G popped up. Is that something that you can expound on, or have you already covered that?
I have not. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
So, oh, look at what I'm wearing today. So Generation G is our global mission to be accepting, to be generous, and to be kind. And you know, what does that look like in your own life? It doesn't necessarily mean we're not specific towards our friends with Down syndrome, but what does that look like, you know, at the store, here at the community center, out in the world, you know, when I go speak to schools or to different organizations and we talk about, you know, like maybe with the students and the children, like, you know, going down the aisle at Target and you see you know, a child in a wheelchair or somebody in a wheelchair. You know, the whole point is to not look away or to not say hi, you know, is to wave hi. You don't have to stop and have a conversation. We understand you may be squeezing in a grocery trip before your next appointment or whatever it might be, but the whole point is to, you know, to kind of have that lens of, can I help or can I just offer a smile and a wave to somebody? Or a conversation, seeing somebody sitting alone at the lunchroom, at the cafeteria or whatnot, and just saying, what can I do? Or, you know, hey, do you want to have a chat? And then, you know, taking that one step further, we have a youth board, a Generation G youth board at GiGi's Playhouse Cleveland, comprised of high school students. And you guys will love this to know that they take that message and that pledge seriously. They meet a few times a month. And they look for ways to spread that message in their high schools, but in their communities as well. And these are teenagers doing this. So we are really proud of the impact that they're making. And then how can we look at, you know, that impact for our adults? And so we have our iacceptyou.org website that we go to, that we lead people to kind of take that next step. What can you do to help spread that Generation G message in your community, in your home, and in your schools, for example? So yeah, it's pretty remarkable to see and to you know, to know what does that look like. You know, how could, you know, making that conscious decision to be better every day.
There you go. You talked a lot about your programs earlier, and you had given me a list of many of them. One that I found really fun is GiGis Kitchen. Can you tell us more about that? Because it's a virtual program, but I think that would be something really beneficial.
Yes.
So please tell us more, and there'll be a couple others I'll ask you about.
So GiGi's Kitchen is one of our virtual programs provided through our GiGi's at Home program. And what's great about that is our teens or our adults can log on, grab their laptop or their iPad, and join, right? Families from all over, adults or teens from all over. And we have a program lead and one of our adult advocates that actually will lead everybody in making pasta salad or a pizza, maybe a veggie pizza, if you will. I'm trying to think of some others they made over the years. I mean, it's every week. It's every Friday for a GiGi's Kitchen for adults. And it's phenomenal. You know, we really work on teaching those skills to be independent. And, you know, if they can go in the kitchen and whip up a meal for themselves, whether it's, you know, something using the stove or the microwave, that's our goal. Or, you know, some of our adults are making dinner for the whole family. And, you know,
that's good.
The rest of the family loves that. Yeah,
That's good. And then there's GiGi Fit, which I think is obvious that it helps them with motor skills or fitness in general, because I know there's a cute little gym in their facility, but I suppose as they age, they want things that are going to be more challenging and more helpful to their physical development.
Right.
They communicate at a very early age, I mean in infancy, by using sign language.
Yes,
and so the adults have to learn that to understand what it is the children are saying. Am I correct in that?
Yes. So
okay,
the reason
that was new to me.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are unaware. So because of the low muscle tone, believe it or not, there's so many muscles in our face and our mouth that we have to teach and work together, right, to form words. So while we're working on that, while our young ones are going to speech therapy, we're also teaching them how to sign so they can ask, for more cookie, or say thank you. We have 2-year-olds, signing over 150 signs, being able to go to the zoo and see the elephants or the lions or the tigers or whatnot, and communicate with mom and dad or siblings. The families are involved in LMNOP. LMNOP stands for Language, Music, and Our Peeps. I don't know who invented that, but I think that's the cutest name for the program. But to see the impact, so we have a speech and language pathologist who runs that program and works on being able to incorporate sign into every day. Just because they're signing, some people might think that the speech might be delayed, it's actually the opposite. So whenever we do sign and we make some kind of sign, mom or dad, we're saying the word as well too. So they're hearing it, they're seeing it, and they're also able to communicate, and they know that they can ask for more please or say thank you and use their manners or whatnot. So, but yeah, being able to teach them that at a young age, we're communicating. There's nothing stopping us from still communicating while they're working on strengthening those muscles in their mouth and their face to talk.
Wow. Okay, well, we've been given quite a bit of information about GiGi's, which again is a really remarkable facility. So we're going to thank you for sharing all of this. And SLA Video Productions is proud to bring stories like this into our fold. If you know of anything that would be just as interesting or inspiring, please let us know, and we can perhaps film something for you. Also, if you want to visit our YouTube channel, which is SLA Video Productions, you can see the video that you're watching today, or anything else that we've done. Or if you subscribe, you will be notified about what is coming down in the future. So we're going to have a brief message from SLA Video Productions right now, and then we'll be back with Liz.
You can make a difference.
Show that you care about the community.
Be part of the conversation.
Bringing generations together.
We can showcase your services or business to your target audience.
Using the latest technology.
Sponsorship opportunities are available on multiple platforms to get your message heard.
Let us help you tell your story.
SLA Video Productions.
Creating quality content.
SLA Video Productions has stories to share. Check out our YouTube channel, subscribe, and get notified when our next video posts.
Okay, so welcome back. I'm with Lizz Maxwell from GiGi's Playhouse, which is a national and international organization, but we do have one in Cleveland. So about yourself, what is your background and what brought you to GiGi's Playhouse?
Sure, great question. So now I can't promise you I'm going to get through it without getting a little emotional, but so my background is education. Went to school for that to teach. I knew I had to be in the classroom in some way, shape, or form. And so how I got involved with GiGi's Playhouse, a friend of mine shared the opening of the one in Lakewood. I live in Lakewood. It's actually 10 blocks away from my house. How lucky am I? I always tell people I get to go to work, not just because I live close, but because what an amazing community I get to serve, right? Mm-hmm. So fantastic. I think it all starts from when I was younger in elementary school. Believe it or not, I had a pretty impactful speech impediment. My stutter was so difficult that I remember in 3rd grade getting up in front of the class and doing a book report on Charlotte's Web. I can still tell you what that wood grain on that podium felt like because my thumbs never stopped rubbing it. I couldn't get through my book report because of the laughter. Oh. I couldn't, the stutter was so profound. You may catch me, I still have it. But through that struggle and seeing how different it felt and the therapy I needed to do something that came so easy to everybody else, so easy, and I never understood that. I'm like, I can't talk like that, I can't speak like that. It just, I think, was ingrained in me to always be an advocate for the underdog. Mm-hmm. Whether it was in high school, sticking up for the bully, or against the bullies. Okay. Let me clarify that real quick. No thanks, bullies.
I always liked the witch and the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, right. But to stand up to them and to speak up for those that don't have a voice yet or don't realize that they have a voice. And so always had a heart for those that have so much potential and are so capable. They just need other people to realize that. They know it. Their families know it. Their friends know it. We need the community to know that. And so that's my driving force. That's my why, that I can help spread that message. So I like to say, because of my stutter, I speak.
Oh,
I speak
that's a
up
good
for
one.
them.
That's a very
So until they can speak up for themselves, then my job's done. So, but yeah, so that's where it came from, and I'm so thankful that I get to do this. It's an honor. I am honored to do this. How lucky am I to be a part of this amazing
And
community.
where did you go to school? Where did you get your degree?
Notre Dame College.
Oh, good
yeah,
for you.
Fantastic.
Okay, excellent.
Fantastic place. Love it.
Okay, well,
So,
when
yeah.
I was researching your website and the link that I was sent to present this, they also mentioned the Kruger organization, which was very instrumental in getting this off the ground. So would you like to talk about them a little bit?
No, we are so thankful for the Kruger
Okay.
Group. Yeah.
Oh, Kruger Group,
Yeah,
excuse me, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they, because of them, they did the build out of our facility. So if you come in and check it out, we are thankful for them for building out the first part of our playhouse. So I say the first part because we still have goals to open up GG University as well too, which is our big career development program where they learn productive skills, healthy lifestyle choices. We're doing mock interviews, we're writing cover letters, we're doing resumes, we're focusing on, honing in on what they want to do after high school, or, to get that internship and get that employment wherever they so choose.
Excellent. Now, again, and this is a reminder, an important one, the GiGi's is a nonprofit. So they are funded solely by donations, and we're going to talk about in what ways you can make a donation other than just monetarily doing so, because there's other things you can do. But before you do that, you may have discussed this in your opening segment, but Down syndrome apparently is the largest chromosomal disability in the country, but yet it is the least funded. Yes. Believe it or not.
I know.
So everything that people can do to help this organization, now you have, people can give donations just out of their pocket, but there's also events that they can host and then give the money. There's sponsorships, there's planned giving, there's also special events. Tell us about the one that you have coming up. I love the title. It's called Brouhaha. And
Yes.
so it's going to be hosted actually by WKYC Channel 3's Dave Chudowski. So tell us about your how people can donate.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, Eddie.
Sure,
I appreciate you bringing
sure.
this up. Because our programs are free, it's not free for us, so there's a lot of work in the background at night. And our biggest barrier for us is staying awake at night going, how can we get this funded? How can we keep this going? And so we have two big fundraisers a year. We have our 5K Dash for Down Syndrome in June, and then we have our big fundraiser, our 7th annual Brouhaha, coming on November 12th at Tank West Bank. We are always looking for sponsorships for silent auction, live auction items. We have a wine pull. We are working on getting a comedian. It's not official yet, but so I can't say anything about. We're excited to announce our comedian as well too. And then one of our programs is called Project Pulse. It's our drumming program led by one of our amazing music therapist, Mary. And yes, and they're going to be performing at the Brouhaha. So it's kind of a big deal. We're very excited about that and the hard work that they put in as well too. But yeah, so in addition to the donations for the Brouhaha, we do have an Amazon wish list. We have our in-kind donations that can be made. Volunteering is also considered a donation. Volunteering your time and your energy, whether it's on a committee, whether it's tutoring, or popping in once a week and helping me send thank you letters to all of our amazing donors, whatever it might be. So, or maybe coming in and having coffee with us, right, David?
Okay, another question. As I mentioned, I have someone in my family that has Downs, and they live out in the Toledo area. What if they were really impressed by what was done here, and they wanted to gather people in their area and open their own GiGi's if there was not one? How would they go about that?
Great question. So feel free to either give me a call, but I'll also direct them. We have a component on our website that talks about startup locations, and we have a specific email. We have a team at our national office that will help them, walk them through it. And I encourage people to do that too, because you never know who else, for example, you talked about in the Toledo area, who else has already reached out to GiGi's and they just don't know each other yet. So I know that's how GiGi's Playhouse Cincinnati got started. The one in Canton, that's how they all get started. They reach out and they say, oh, there's actually 10 of you that are interested. Hey, let's create our startup committee and get going. And they have the different phases that talk about the next steps. And so it's very, the steps are very well thought out and involved, because we realize the importance that once you open up a GiGi's Playhouse in your neighborhood, we don't take that away from our families. It's always going to be there. So
That's good to know. Okay, getting back to your website, there's a lot for people to learn by looking on the website. And one thing that you had given me that is on the website, but I think it really is another indicator of everything you do, and it's the calendar. You have a monthly calendar of times and dates and what activities are going on. So it really shows you the depth of what happens at these centers. So again, I encourage you to visit the website. It's very well put together and informative. So is it time for another break for us? And you're going to learn more about what SLA Video Productions does and how you can subscribe and be a part of it.
You can make a difference.
Show that you care about the community.
Be part of the conversation.
Bringing generations together.
We can showcase your services or business to your target audience.
Using the latest technology.
Sponsorship opportunities are available on multiple platforms to get your message heard.
Let us help you tell your story.
SLA Video Productions.
Creating quality content.
Hi, welcome back to our presentation about GiGi's Playhouse. And we have a special guest today, Dave, who is a Playhouse ambassador. So thank you for joining us. First of all, how old were you, when you started going to GiGi's?
I was 53, but right now I'm 54 now.
54, so I think you were about 50. You've been coming for, what, 4 years? 3 or 4 years?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So you started as an older adult, then you didn't go as a child. Okay. What things do you like best about GiGi's? What programs do you participate in? Or can you tell us about that have been helpful to you?
You want to start with Tuesdays? What do you do on Tuesdays?
First of all, there's a book club.
Book club.
Okay.
And again, music.
And then music, Project Pulse.
Yes.
They'll be performing at the Brouhaha.
Are you a drummer?
Yeah.
Do you do the drumming?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
So you got 2. So book club from 4 to 5. Then you're back at GiGi's from 7 to 8 for Project Pulse.
Right.
Yeah. And then what about Wednesdays? What do you do on Wednesdays? GiGi Fit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Duty Fit.
Yep.
GiGi Fit.
Yeah.
And Duty Fit and what to say?
Are you thinking of something else on Wednesdays, or are you going to Thursdays?
On Thursday.
Thursday. What do you have? Oh, yeah. Yesterday. What did we have yesterday at
A game with friends.
Games with Friends? So our teens and our adults come in and hang out. We play all different games. Cornhole, life-size, Connect 4, card games, you name it.
Right.
We have a lot of fun, don't we?
That's
Yes.
a lot.
But then after Games with Friends on Thursdays, you help me or Mary with what?
Like I said before, I do music on Tuesday.
On Tuesdays, but Thursday nights, do we have volunteer orientation?
Right.
And you talk to the volunteers and educate them?
Right.
And then you give tours? Mm-hmm. But then Fridays, coffee chat. He does not forget coffee chat. Yes, coffee chat wins. That's how we end our week, right?
Right.
We come in, we grab coffee, we hang out, and maybe we get ready we help prep for the programs for the weekend, right?
Right.
But we get to hang out
Right.
and talk about our week
Of course.
and cheer on the Guardians.
Yay.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, David's, as you can
Very
see, David's
busy.
there all throughout the
Do
week.
you have a favorite room at GiGi's Playhouse or a favorite activity, or do you like everything pretty much the same?
All the same.
All the same. Well, that's good because it's a nice place. Do you like the room with the stars? I was very impressed
you
by
know?
that.
How'd you know?
I went over there the other day. I went to visit Liz before I did this presentation, and I thought that was pretty cool. where
Wow.
there's a sensory room, and when you turn out the light, and there's stars on the ceiling. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, I love it. You probably also like the kitchen with the Keurig,
Yes,
right?
yes.
For the coffee.
Okay. Have you made a lot of friends coming to
Yes,
GiGi's?
yes.
Lots of them. And do you hang out with them outside of GiGi's, or mostly just while you're there?
I don't know.
You don't know?
A little bit of both, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah. And in addition, too, so we talked about GiGi's Playhouse Cincinnati opening. David went down, I think it was in the springtime. They had an event down there, and he got up to speak and share with the Cincinnati community about the
Wow.
impact that GiGi's Playhouse has had. And who did you get to introduce?
First of all, I think it was this is mother's name again.
Nancy.
Nancy.
Gianni, yep.
Ooh.
And the Gigi.
And Gigi.
The
Yeah.
Gigi.
Wow,
She
the-
likes to go by the Gigi.
The Gigi, okay. Like, well, yeah.
And also, my brother, I'm sorry, my brother lived in Cincinnati too.
Yeah, your brother does live in Cincinnati. And
Oh,
your niece
perfect.
Right.
is part of the startup committee for
Right.
GiGi's Playhouse Cincinnati, too. So because of David's, the impact that you've had, your family down in Cincinnati got involved.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Thank you so much for that.
So how long have you actually been an ambassador then? For the whole time you've been with GiGi's? Did you come in that capacity, or did you get promoted to that, or?
I think about a couple years now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 years. Right about 2
Okay.
years, yeah.
So you mentioned the Guardians. Are you a baseball fan?
The whole thing, but I would say yes.
Yes. Okay.
And
yeah.
a Browns fan.
And
And a
Browns.
Buckeyes fan. He's rocking his Buckeye socks
And
today.
I hope you like the Cavs too. You like basketball?
Yes, and they're not paying yet.
They're not
They're
playing
not-
yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a couple months
We
down
are
the road.
focused
yet.
on the Guardians
There
and the
you go.
Buckeyes, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. All right. Very good. So,
Yeah,
have you learned anything that you already didn't know that has helped you outside of GiGi's? You know, just navigating the world, or any programs that you feel have been especially educational for you? Or again, I would think at this stage of the game, you're.
Well, you probably, what programs have you benefited from that have helped you?
I think it's Mary or Aaron, I guess.
Mary or Aaron. And Mary
Okay.
is our music therapist who leads Project Pulse, and Aaron is our rec therapist who leads our GG Fit programs, both volunteers who are absolutely phenomenal. If you ask anybody in our GG's community, they will tell you it is because of those two and their leadership in the programs that help us be our best of all, right?
That's true,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Do you like participating in those music groups and performing in front of an audience?
I guess so.
You like it? Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you also help out at the fundraisers? Do you go to those? Are you going to be a brouhaha?
You're going to be up on stage at the brouhaha.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like helping all of the kids too, right? And being there for the younger programs and being a great example, and we appreciate you for that. Yeah, for sure.
So what other interests and passions do you have in everyday life? What do you like to do when you're not at GiGi's? Anything? Like, do you like to go hiking, or do you like to go to movies, or what do you like?
I really don't know.
No.
Well, you like cheering on your sports teams,
Right.
right? You like a good burger?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
finding
all.
the good burger joints around town.
Yeah, something like that.
Something. Is that your favorite food, or do you like all kinds of food?
You know, it's like, I would say yes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I love it.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we conclude?
What do you think? Anything else? No? You're good? Well, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, Dave and Liz. But before we conclude the entire
Excuse me.
taping today, we'd like to take questions from the audience. So if anybody has anything, Cheryl will come around with a mic, and you can ask either Dave or Liz. You've covered so much. I can't even imagine what other question I would ask. Okay, we have one right here.
Has GiGi's been in Lakewood?
So we opened January 2016, so 6.5 years now. Well, yeah, we're going on 7 years in January. Wow.
How can I make children of Down syndrome or someone, if I'm walking on the sidewalk in a wheelchair, how can I make them comfortable?
That's a great question. Just a simple wave or a smile. You know, we just want, our biggest goal is just to make them feel included. However you would treat anybody else walking down the sidewalk.
You're in that plaza over on Detroit, right across from the library. How many rooms are in there? Because it doesn't look that
It goes back
big.
far. It
Yes,
goes
I know.
back.
Isn't that we're around 3,000 square feet of space? Yeah. You'll have to come by. I'll show you.
And do you treat the children and adults with other types of disabilities or just Down syndrome?
That's a great question. So all of our programs, while they're specifically designed for our friends with Down syndrome, they focus on how they learn best. Anybody with a diagnosis can come to our programs. We have children. My daughter is 8 and she would be considered neurotypical, not having a diagnosis. And she comes and sees so much value in coming. So yeah, anybody is welcome through our doors.
I don't have a question. I just want to say that my granddaughter, Olivia Jody's daughter, has Down syndrome and she loves GiGi's. It's a wonderful place. And to me, she's just like a typical child. I don't treat her any differently. She's my heart. That's
Yep, absolutely. The biggest message, yeah, I know. The biggest message from this is that our families, that's Olivia's mom right there, Olivia's grandma, David, they just want their child. We just want to be treated just like everybody else. So how you would speak to somebody in line at the grocery store, how you would speak to them doing their job. If you know, Down syndrome has a wearable diagnosis, meaning you can see that there's a diagnosis. And that can be helpful or hurtful. The hurtful part is that right away there's a stereotype that I need to treat this person differently. And that's the message we're sending, is that please don't treat them differently. That they may just need a little bit more time to respond, to think. We have what we like to say an internal rehearsal. To think through things, and we give them a little bit more time. If we need more time to think through, we need more time to think through, but that doesn't mean that they can't do or achieve whatever it is that the rest of their friends or their peers are doing. And the bottom line is we treat them like anybody else because they deserve that. They deserve that, so yeah.
There's 2 quotes. One of them comes from, it's a testimonial on their website, and it said, I walked out of GiGi's Playhouse smiling and I feared no more. So
Yeah.
think about that these people are probably all, uncertain because they've been given this diagnosis, when they're born, and they don't know how to proceed or whatever, and this is a refuge for them and a place that's going to be helpful. Again, it's just, I don't know if I'm phrasing it the right way.
You absolutely are. We celebrate everything.
Yeah.
We don't look at developmental milestones. We look at purposeful progressions. We talk to the families and say, what goals do you have for your child? What goals that Olivia's mom has for her may be different than another parent's goals for their 5 or 6-year-old. And that's okay. If you have children, you know that from one child to another, the developmental milestones are all over the place. And that's okay. We're kind of needing to rephrase and rethink and reevaluate that thought process, because it's okay that some of us maybe want to take a different path to get to that goal than somebody else. And that's okay.
We have one more question.
Oh, coming on behind you.
Do you have a program that helps them as they become of age to find jobs?
Yes, that's our GGU program, which we're excited about launching. There's funding we need for that. We're putting together our write-up, if you will. We have the drawings. We know what the build-out's going to look like, so we're going to put that together. But a lot of the other playhouses have that already, and the impact that we've seen from having GGU and getting them ready for whatever career they have. Now, mind you, a lot of our adults are already employed. We have some that work downtown at the clinic, that are at Fairview, that are at your local grocery store, you know, you name it, library. But yeah, for those that are coming up and maybe don't have that resource or the skills yet, that's what we have GGU, that's what we're gonna have GGU for, is to equip them and to get them ready for that next step. So we're excited for that.
Okay, and then I'm going to conclude with, I almost transposed it, but when I was visiting the site the other day, and there's a nice little, I don't know if you call it plaque or whatever that piece of artwork is, and it said, I walked out of GiGi's, now see, I'm doing the same thing. I'm reversing it yet again. So what that plaque said is, nothing I ever expected and everything I dreamed. And I think that sums up probably what it is you do.
Right, Jody? Nothing I ever expected and everything I dreamed. Every single parent and grandparent that has walked through our doors will tell you, this is a club I didn't think I wanted to join, but I am so blessed and lucky that I did. And so they refer to themselves as the lucky few. How lucky are we to have somebody in our family with Down syndrome? And if you don't know anybody with Down syndrome, come by GiGi's, hang out with us, 'cause I promise you, it's gonna change your life. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, that's been very informative, enlightening, inspiring. Thank you, Liz and David, for joining us today and to help to send the global message of acceptance. Remember, what's the phrasing? Be kind, be accepting, be kind and generous. Yes. Maybe not in the order that you have said it.
You nailed it.
But again, this episode of Westlake Live will be posted on YouTube in the future, so if you want to review it again, if you want to encourage friends, especially if you know people who have a Down syndrome individual in their family, please encourage them to do so. Subscribe so that you can again be informed of any other future topics that we're going to be having down the road. And we also have previous segments we've already filmed that might be of interest to you. So thank you again for joining us today. I'm Addie. Have a great day.
Thank you. Good job, bud.
And we want to hear from you. Contact us online or through social media with ideas and suggestions for future content. Also, you can help us enlighten and inspire others by sponsoring one of our video podcasts or any of our content.